Good evening and welcome to the Silicon Valley Entrepreneur, a series of conversations with startup founders and their investors on what it takes to build a viable, fundable company. I'm Chris Gill, President and CEO of S-Phase, the largest and fastest growing not-for-profit organization for entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley, dedicated to helping entrepreneurs across all technologies to build successful companies through exposure to best practices, extraordinary people and opportunities to grow. This week I'll be interviewing Dick Brown, founder and president of Silicon Valley Global, makers of the Tunebug, and winner of this month's First Impressions event. So Dick, good to see you.
Good evening, Chris.
Thank you for coming along tonight and welcome to the Silicon Valley Entrepreneur. I'd like to talk about the technology that you've come along with and the products that you've got, but first of all I'd like to fill in a little bit of the background. What were you doing before you founded Silicon Valley Global?
Well, I was retired. I had a 2 handicap at golf, and I was living the good life.
And what were you doing prior to that?
I had a company where I found a company called Creative Labs, and I helped them invent the Sound Blaster card, which became an industry standard in the PC computer world. And I launched it nationally for Creative Labs and made quite a nice business out of the company. And did that up until 1992 when I retired.
Okay. And so what caused you to come out of the retirement and working on your golf?
It took a little bit, but you can only play golf 5 times a week so much, and
Right.
even that gets old. I'm an angel investor in my own right, and I help companies, and I've started 2 or 3 other companies and helped them get started. So I was helping an entrepreneur up in Grass Valley work on a product that he had, and he pulled out a little musical device and showed it to me, and my eyes lit up. And I'd never seen anything quite like it, haven't seen anything since, and it caused me to stop what I was doing, put together a company, and come out and do what I'm doing now.
Okay. So what did your friends and family say to that? I mean, you were enjoying your retirement, playing golf, working on your handicap. What did they say to that?
Well, my wife said about time. It's kind of like anything else. After a while, being retired is wonderful. I had a wonderful life. I had some of the perks you get from having a successful company, but then there comes a time where you got to look around and see, is that all you're doing? And if it's a low probability chance of success, you may make the decision not to come out and go at risk. But what I saw in my years of expertise, and I love toys and I love music and I love computers and gadgets, I saw something that had the ability to change some way people do a lot of things in the music world, and that lit my juices up and it got me going. And so I turned 65 last November, and I'm having just as much fun as I had when I was 40 doing this.
Okay, so you came across the technology owned by another company. What were the moves that you made to get to where you are now?
Well, it took about 6 months. Initially, I was just going to do my role of marketing and sales, take over all the marketing sales, put the company together, put all the sales presentations, and go out and sell it to the channels that would be interested in the product. Along the way, it got more complex, and the people who were going to do the manufacturing dropped out, leaving a void of no one to actually make the product.
Right.
So I had a choice of either stopping or continuing on. So I enhanced the company, got some more money into it, and put together a manufacturing team so that we can complete the development and bring it to market this year. It cost us about 6 months of time, but now we're very close.
Okay. So how did you pull together the rest of the team? Because this is a critical part of any startup, is pulling together that team. How did you do that?
Well, unfortunately, being 65, you make a lot of friends and I guess enemies too in the industry when you come up. And I had a lot of old friends, a lot of contacts that have current contacts in the channel. They're already working in the channel. They already have I don't know the buyer at fries anymore.
Right.
But they do. Okay, so
Yep.
you've got to get the right people who can go in and get a deal done in 60 days, not 2 years. So a friend of mine runs a company called the Sightline Group, and I employed them. We went out and did all the marketing, checked out with 200 retailers. They consistently said, show me a finished product and I'll buy it. From that, I had to put together the manufacturing team, which we have now. I've had my manufacturing, and now we're working on marketing and international.
And how did you find the manufacturing team? Because and where is this going to be manufactured?
It was a lot of luck. I had tried to hire the VP of manufacturing to come into the situation and gear it up. Didn't work. But I got referred to a friend of mine that was running manufacturing of another company,
Mm-hmm.
and it turned out there was some synergy. We got together. He came into the company half-time, and now he's coming in full-time to make the company. He's driving the manufacturing. It's running at a beautiful pace. The product's coming along. It's being developed. It's being manufactured in China,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the hardest thing I've done because I don't know manufacturing. So I've had to trust other people to do it, and it's really coming along.
Okay, so I was going to ask you, what was the first big thing that you got going on? It sounds like it was the manufacturing was the big issue, or was there something earlier on?
No, it was getting control of the IP.
Ah, okay.
There's a large company owns around 350 patents that surrounds the base technology.
Mm-hmm.
And the company that I'd been introduced to owns an additional 3 patents. And so I acquired all those rights and put them in the company, raised the funding to get started, and here we are.
So not just 3 patents, but you acquired an additional 350?
I have a license on the 300,
Okay.
and I own another 3.
Okay,
So
understood.
the license is what protects me from the base technology, and then my special patents that specifically describe the product and the process gives me additional protection on top of that.
That does sound like a fairly mammoth task. How long did it take you to get that to happen?
A couple days. The inventors were very cooperative. Wow. They're wonderful to work with. They want to invent and stay up in Grass Valley and do
Mm-hmm.
what they love to do,
Mm-hmm.
and they want me selling product, and it made it easier for me to fund the company, and they just pitched in. It was wonderful.
That is an unusually
Very. It's striking.
great result from something like that, because normally things involving patents take a long time to get sorted out. So
Yeah. Took a 1-pager assignment and done.
terrific.
Yeah.
Terrific.
That's real joy. I mean, to have great people to work with makes this whole process fun.
Okay, so now you've got an interesting technology. You've put together a team. What was the first major stumbling block you had, and how did you handle that situation?
I made an arrangement with the company that was going to manufacture it, that they were going to build a product and supply it to me. And as the process went on of them selecting a manufacturer they wanted to work with to manufacture for me, my task was they would ship it to me, FOB San Francisco, I own it from there, and I do everything else,
Mm-hmm.
sales, marketing, promotion, everything. That process keeps stalling, yet I've got people staffed up, I'm paying salaries, I'm paying rent, and it keeps dragging, and all of a sudden you're burning your very precious angel capital, and you're not getting anywhere. But at the end of the day, the manufacturing company wanted some $600,000 up front to start manufacturing. And my people who were doing the manufacturing decided that they couldn't do that. So they stopped, and all of a sudden I'm left in a lurch. I have a product, it's not done yet, don't have a manufacturer yet, so I had to pick it up and go from there. And I've never had to do that, and it's been a very difficult task because I'm not a manufacturer.
Right, right. And that's why you had to go out and find a VP of manufacturing to help you do that.
Yep.
Okay. Did you have to go out and get external venture funding to get you to where you are now, or are you looking for it now?
My partner and I put in the major angel round,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if you've tried to sell a product in retail lately, but the retailers are very slow in paying their bills. They like to pay you in 90 days, 120 days, net never, whatever they feel like at the time. So I've put together an or a Series A round that I'm trying to raise.
Okay.
And we're in the process of doing it. We got the offering documents, but as you know, in this valley, everybody's running real tight on their money, and it doesn't come easily these days.
Now, you're an experienced investor from the other side of the table as well as an entrepreneur. What was your strategy, or what is your strategy for raising finance? I'd be interested to understand how you went about doing that.
Well, the real way I would like to finance it would be to finance receivables.
Right.
Unfortunately, accounts receivables from retailers have no value. So to get something like a factor to handle that kind of funding, it costs you 40–45%. So it's hard to make, hard to build a company paying those kind of expenses. So put together an A round that offers percentage of interest on top of the money, offers payback first to the investors, and then I get my money last. I'm working at no salary. Okay, I won't take a dime till all my investors and angels get all their cash back, and then I'll participate. So I put together a hybrid deal, and it'll either fly or it won't.
Okay, but you work through a well-defined, well-understood strategy on how you're going to raise the money rather than just shotgunning stuff out to all kinds of people.
No, it's the biggest problem you have is evaluation of the company. I could have raised all the money I needed if I'd put a $5 million pre on the company, but then I'd have lost control of the company, which I was not going to do. So that's the dance: is you have to find the right money at the right valuation.
Right. Okay. Understood. So you've got the technology, you've got your financing in place, you've got production going, and I think now, what sort of stage is the product in now? Can you tell us about that?
And I'm learning manufacturing. Okay, so go along with me here. My understanding is I now have what's called CNC models, which are handmade, machine-made versions of the real thing.
Right.
Okay. From these, once the industrial design team approves them, then we go to the full manufactured building the molds that will allow me to build tens of thousands of them. So we have these in that now. As soon as the team approves them, then China kicks off, takes another 4 weeks to build the molds that will allow me to build tens of thousands of these.
Okay. So we've talked about the product, and I've given it the name the Tunebug, but we haven't actually said what it is. So can you tell us a little bit about what the product is?
The Tunebug uses a technology that, why don't I just show you first?
Sure, by all means, let's do that.
Give you a look here. Okay, as you can see, I placed the Tunebug on a helmet. What the technology does is it uses whatever surface you place it on as the speaker.
Right.
In this case, I will have a magnetic accessory that you snap the Tunebug into onto the helmet. The entire surface of the helmet becomes your speaker.
Okay, got it.
And so you don't need earbuds. It's safe. You don't have any problem, you can take your music, plug your iPod into it and go. And as a, show you a little example, another company that licensed this same technology is the card folks, Hallmark. I'm sure you've heard the audio cards.
Yeah.
Well, the Tunebug uses As you can see, the Tunebug uses any surface as a speaker by driving the audio waves into the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Now, rock, it has to vibrate.
Right.
Okay, rocks don't vibrate very well, but most desks, paper, books, most anything you set it on becomes your speaker. You need no earbuds. It's perfect for traveling, hooking up to your iPod, your iTouch, your iPhone, any MP3 player.
Okay, so who's going to be the? I mean, it's very sexy and it sounds fun and it certainly looks very cool as a unit. Who's going to want to buy this?
Well, so far everybody, all the crews wanted one here. There's 3 versions of the product, and there'll be probably 3 different sets of folks. This is for anyone wanting a really cool, neat product that's used in different ways on different surfaces, but this is a speaker for an MP3 player.
Right.
Okay. The next version of this will be specifically for helmets, and it will have its own MP3 player in it, its own memory, so you can download 200 or 300 or 400 songs onto it, put on a helmet. You need no earbuds, no iPhone, no iPod, no anything, and you just go. It's fully self-contained. And then we found out in our research that the full motorcycle helmet folks, we call them the helmet heads,
mm-hmm.
they won't buy a product unless it makes your eyes bleed at 100 miles an hour.
Right.
So we have a 3rd version called the Quake that will really rock your world. So we have a process of products and developments, and we'll add Bluetooth to some of them, and so we've got a whole product chain of things coming. The Vibe is our first offering, and it'll be along a little later this year.
Okay, so motorcyclists, rollerbladers,
skateboards, skiers,
anybody who's wearing a helmet,
or anybody that's, you can put them on an armband, walking, running, hiking, traveling, use a speaker in your hotel room, sport, any kind of sports. It's we're going to have a contest for the neatest way to use the Tunebug.
Of course. Yeah.
So, but as we've seen here, like with your crew, it has such a neat cool factor but that won't last. I mean, that's a start. People love it, but it has to have value past that.
Yes.
And so the quality of the music that's coming out of it and the experience, we intend to make very, very happy, make the customers very happy.
So the cool factor is part of it, but what led you to believe there was a substantial market for this product?
People's reaction when you hold something up like this, and trust me, the prototype was ugly.
Right.
It was not. You've seen the prototype. It's not very pretty. And when I set it on a piece of cardboard, a piece of paper, a book, and it starts playing music, they say, "Wow!" Every time. Early on, we showed it to 200 retailers at a show,
mm-hmm.
and almost to a person, they said, "Show me finished product and finished packaging, and we'll carry it." So every indication I've got from all my sources, all my data points, all my research says people want the product, but as yet I haven't sold one, so I still got a ways to go.
Okay.
You never know till somebody will put $60 out of their pocket and buy it. Right?
Yep. Sure. Okay. No, I understand that. You are going to develop this further as a range. You've talked about the three units that you currently have here. How do you see this developing further?
What things are changing as we get out into the world and show it more. What it appears is the really big market is what we'll define as the power sports.
Mm-hmm.
The ATVs, the motorcycles, scooters, anything powered. That has gotten incredibly large, and there is no solution. We have the only workable solution without adding huge speakers to your handlebars or building speakers into the helmet, which is dangerous and expensive. So for a reasonable amount of money, we can provide an excellent experience that most of them want. The older bikers don't even know what an iPod is, but the 45 down, they all want their music with them. So we're learning that may be actually our largest market is the power sports folks.
Interesting. Now, selling into the consumer market from an investor's viewpoint is generally people take a step back.
They're not doing it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what has been, but you know, you've shown this to some VCs. You gave we gave you some feedback on your funding pitch at the First Impressions program last week. What has been the general reaction from potential investors to this?
I want one. But none of them have written a check yet.
None of them have written a check yet. Okay, so there is this issue with it being a consumer electronics product, and they're treating it a little bit.
The experience of the last 90 days have been the VCs are kind of hunkered down. They're protecting what they already have, saving what they can. A few of them have new funds, working with Bill Tye over at Charles Rivers. So working with angel groups, Sand Hill Angels, we've got due diligence going. So there is some interest, but things are very slow. They don't move very quickly. And frankly, to count on funding right now where you used to could count on it in 4 to 6 months, I don't know where it is these days. So you probably know better than I would.
Oh, it's taking time, and there's little downside to taking time. So yeah, that tends to be what happens. So you're moving ahead with the production of it with a view to rolling it out, regardless of where you are on the financing, which is a pretty brave move.
Well, I'm funded to the point, so things have changed. A year ago, to get things built in China, you had to give up 4 months LCs to get products built.
Yep.
Today, I'm getting terms. They like the product. I'm buying with net 30-day terms out of Hong Kong, and that's a big deal.
Wow, that's terrific.
So all I have to do is fund the retailers. I got to take care of Best Buy.
Okay. So one of the issues with consumer electronics is that they often are made in China, and as there are issues with that they don't always respect ownership of product and patents. So do you have any concerns about this technology and the product itself being duplicated by other sources?
Yes, you always have that worry. And is somebody going to build one? Sure. All you can do is depend on your IP and, fend off whoever comes. However, my experience has been, as with Sound Blaster, when we started that, you give me 6 months into the channel to build the brand, to build the service, to build a reputation, bring them on. Okay, I can market and fight with anybody. And, if you're selling it for a dime on the dollar, that's a different customer. But once I get a head start and I've got my marketing going, I'm not afraid of competition in that vein, and I'm sure it'll come. If it's too blatant, we'll defend it. The company that owns the base technology has defended it around the world and won every time. So.
Oh, terrific! So there's already some track record on doing that.
The people that own the Exciter technology have over 350 patents around that technology and have defended it. So.
That's terrific.
I'm depending on that a lot.
Okay. Do you see the technology extending beyond the consumer electronics area?
Well, it's funny you ask because things start happening. We found a wonderful way to use it in music and guitars. We found applications keep coming, and I'm seeing different divisions crop up with different accessories, different pieces added to the base unit, maybe a little different configuration. It could be half a dozen different businesses pretty quickly. But right now, I got to, as you know, to drive one thing home, you got to focus on this and go. And you let the smaller pieces come in and develop those kind of in little incubators.
Okay, this is a really interesting story. I mean, the perception of many people is that entrepreneurs are young guys in their 20s who exist on Raymond and build websites for $20,000. This is a completely different deal, just across the board. So
I'm sorry.
So I'm fascinated by it because it really is. You've got a product of substance. You can see it, you can feel it, you can touch it, you can demo it, and the background that you've demonstrated, which has enabled you to get going with a manufactured product in an incredibly short space of time. What do you think is it about your experience in the team and whatever else you put together that has enabled you to do this so quickly?
Have you ever been in a deal that you kept running into roadblocks?
Mm-hmm.
It kept slowing you down, red and yellow flags, stop, start. That's been my history. Even with Sound Blaster, took a year and a half to get software guys to write your drivers to support your hardware. This thing has had a rhythm to it that I've never experienced. It has a flow. For example, we had a problem in that another company stopped our trademark. No, our trademark. They had already done an audio device, and similar name, the clear cut, we're done. Okay, so now what do? You stop. Turns out that my sales guy knew the owner of the company that owned that trademark. They happened to be here in the valley. One phone call, 10 minutes, we got a carve out so we can build any device with an exciter in it. It's fine. Never happens. But there's been a series of 2 or 3 or 4 things. We tried to get the Tunebug website. It was owned by a guy from Apple. It took us 3 months to track him down, and he finally sold it to us for $3,500.
Wow.
So it's just the kinds of pieces that you have to do as you go through this thing. And it's had a rhythm. It hasn't stalled, except for the manufacturing. The biggest issue was the pause in manufacturing.
Okay, well, I have to say, we are now running out of time. I have to take my hat off to you. I think you've done a terrific job in a very short space of time with some quite substantial obstacles in the way. So it's been an absolute pleasure having you here. Thank you very much, Dick, for coming along and sharing your experiences. And tonight it's time to wrap up. So thanks and good night from S-Phase and the Silicon Valley Entrepreneur. And I look forward to you seeing our next show next month. Thanks again.